Morning, everybody. We can... Colleagues, thank you very much. Welcome to everyone. Have the agenda open in front of me. No, take your time. Thank you, everyone. Firstly, apologies for the late start this morning. I think everything went wrong this morning that could potentially go wrong, and half of Gauteng was also on the road in Cape Town. So from my side, I'm sorry for being late, and I think it gave a bit more time. I see breakfast was well received. I firstly just want to share the apologies for today. It feels like we haven't seen each other face to face for quite some time, ever, that's true, Honourable Matthys. And I actually want to thank the Honourable Muela, and I haven't missed anyone. I want to start immediately with opening remarks. Maybe I can refer to the agenda first before I start with the opening remarks. Can I ask the honourable members whether we can move to adopt the agenda as is? Honourable Barnard. Yeah.
Chair, before we move there, I think I need some clarity. We've got a problem in the room. We don't have the accounting officer, who would be the National Police Commissioner. We need the minister. We do have a deputy minister, but the accounting officer is not here. So who, if we have the presentation, who do we put the questions to? I think it is proper that we put them to the accounting officer. So if you could guide us there. I mean, everyone is here, bar the two people that we actually need. So it is an issue, and I think we need to discuss that before we even look at the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Barnard. Let me just make a list first. I've noted the Honourable Skosana, the Honourable Matthys, the Honourable Schikkerling, Honourable Ghana, and Reverend Meshwe. Honourable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. Honourable Barnard has already said that the accounting officer, NASCOM, is not here. The Minister, Kachalia, is not here. We acknowledge the Deputy Ministers present here and all the senior top management of South African Police Service. But I think it's high time, Chair, that we have to insist that the minister has to be here. Acknowledging the deputy that is here, but we need the accounting officer and the minister here, and I think that this meeting should be deferred. You know, that if it's continuing, even the next meeting, we're going to have an apology. So from what I think perhaps will be correct is to defer this meeting from for it to take place. Perhaps we can have the AG and the civilian secretariat if they are here, but with the police, because this is a very, very important document, and the discussion is going to the heart of the problem which we have in this country. And I think it's high time that we ask the National Commissioner to really be here, and the acting minister as well. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Skosana. I then move to Honourable Matthys.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, members of Parliament, and to the South African Police Service. Chair, I'm in agreement, and not that we're often in agreement with the DA and the MK, but, but in the interest of security and safety in South Africa, we can't continue this meeting, Chair. The acting minister is not here, the national commissioner is not here. On the issue of the AG and the civilian secretariat presenting, who we can ask the questions to. And we also had this discussion at our planning meeting earlier this year, that number one, we need to request that we move our committee meeting. It can't be The South African Police Service and Parliament must read the room of what's going on in the country. We have a commission of inquiry going on into what's going on and the rot in the justice system. We have an ad hoc committee that's going on. This police portfolio committee has also been taken to task for our lack of oversight, because we are being told that we must do our meetings virtually. How do you do that with the crime stats that we have in this country? How do we do that after the testimonies that we have heard both in the ad hoc committee and in the commission? So, Chair, our submission is that we postpone. It's another wasteful and fruitless expenditure, because both the executive does not take us serious or take Parliament oversight serious for whatever reason, and the National Commissioner, unfortunately, he needs to be here. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Matthys. Honourable Schikkerling.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning to the members of Parliament and the SAPS and all the other members that are here. Chair, I would like to agree. I'm very disappointed with what is going on. In the previous term, if I can call it that, the Minister, Nkunu, hardly ever came to our meetings because there was always an excuse. Now we start off with a new acting minister and we have an excuse. This meeting was planned long ago, Chairperson. It's not something that happened yesterday. They knew that this meeting was taking place. And on Friday during the ad hoc committee, I asked the General Masimola if what is going on in South Africa with all the committees and the instability in the SAPS is affecting the police's administration, and he admitted that it is so. And clearly it is so, because we're sitting here today and we cannot carry on. And this is really an indictment to South Africa and the citizens that are sitting outside there watching us, Chair. We all know that crime is out of control in our country, and we are here. We've shown up. We've shown up to try and fix it and to give our input and try and help where we can, but it doesn't seem as though the executive is showing up to assist us to do that, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Schikkerling. Honourable Garner.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, we are accused of not doing our job, including by members of SAPS. They go to commissions and say, as a portfolio committee, we are not doing our job. The National Commissioner is not here. The Minister is not here. But then it's us who are not doing our job. So the presentation on the police must stand back. We can deal with the AG, because that's a preparation for us to then engage with the police. We can deal with the unions, but the police themselves, we can't deal with them. And I think it's only fair that the police, when we discuss the other issues, they don't necessarily need to be in the room, because it was unfortunate that we try to do our best. But then when people go on commissions and say, all right, the police is not, the portfolio committee is not doing its job. And this emanates from the police themselves. Because one of the things that I would like to also get on the day that the commissioner is here, is also the head of legal to come here as well. The head of legal must come here. And because now the head of legal has become an expert on parliamentary work. Together with the commissioner, they must come here and say, all right, so when you tell us the things that you tell us here, are we supposed to read between the lines? So I will submit, second what Honorable Skosana has said, that the agenda, it's the AG, is then we deal with the unions and deal with the civilian secretariat. And then we have another day to deal with the police. We cannot have a situation that we have right now, and the minister and the commissioner are not in the room. It just can't be. And I submit, Chair, that next time when you send the invite, please invite the head of legal. The head of legal must come to this committee, because she says that she advises the delegates that come here in terms of what is said and not said in this committee, then she must be in the room. Because if we are supposed to hold people accountable, then the things that she says about us must also hold her accountable. Because you can't just go in public and accuse us of not doing our work when you have never appeared before us. You didn't intervene, you didn't do anything. It can't be. So, AG, the unions, CSPS, we can deal with them. But the police, we can't deal with them. They must come proper, fully, all of them. And it's not going to be virtual, Chair. It can't be virtual. We want it in person. And we don't want further excuses. We know we have deadlines with Parliament, so let's get them here. They will explain themselves in terms of wasteful expenditure that they've caused. Then that might very well be the first question that we ask the National Commissioner and the Minister. But we can't deal with the police today.
Thank you, Honourable Ghana. Reverend Meshwe.
Chairperson, I must say that we are disappointed that the minister will always prioritize cabinet meetings. He would always have excuses when he has to appear before this committee. I agree with my colleagues that we should not deal with the SAPS budget. The Auditor General can carry on and the unions, and it's a civilian secretariat. When we are told that the police don't care, people say it in our presence. You want to defend those that you know are doing their best. But when you see how the minister and the national commissioner are treating this committee, particularly when I speak as a victim of crime. Chairperson, I have 6 cases that have to do with me personally and my family when we came under attack. When our house was broken into, my car was taken from the property, and the police could not crack any one of them. 6. And when they have time to come and convince us that this budget before us will help them to do what they failed to do the previous year, they don't take that opportunity seriously. And I agree with my colleague that we cannot have a virtual meeting. We need to look them in the eye. They must look us in our eyes and see our unhappiness because we feel like we are disrespected. This committee is not taken seriously, and it is high time that we show those who are disrespecting this committee that we know our rights as a committee, we know the authority that we have as a committee, and when it's necessary, like it is now, we will exercise that authority. So they have to come. The minister and the National Commissioner must be told the committee says you have to appear before the committee. Otherwise, there will be no debate and acceptance of the budget they are proposing. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Reverend Meshwe. I would like to say a few brief comments before we move with any potential thing. I've already said welcome, but I want to emphasize what all the members have said. The BRRR process is probably one of the most important processes that we have on the calendar of this committee. Now, I'm going to touch on what Honourable Ghana said, and I think the Honourable Matai said she doesn't always agree with some of us, but one thing that this committee agrees on, that we're not going to be accused of not doing our job. And we were accused of that several times over the last few weeks, and a significant misinterpretation, misperception about us was created about what happened on the 5th of March. So that will not happen again in the future. I will not sit here and be disregarded as a committee by the minister or the national commissioner for that matter. We are not a rubber stamp of SAPS, CSPS, IPID or anyone else. We have an oversight role to play, and we are going to do that. So in future, and I'm going to go through the rest of the notes now, as many possible of these meetings will be in person, and the relevant persons will be there to take part in the process. We do not answer to Cabinet, so I don't care if Cabinet is in the time of the committee. This committee has asked several times to change programming. That hasn't happened. SAPS is in crisis at the moment, but the minister chooses to go to Cabinet this morning. Nothing can trump, no Cabinet meeting can trump what is being discussed here today. And I want to be very honest that I think it's disgraceful that it's not taken as seriously as it should. And I know I'm preaching to everyone that is actually here, so don't get me wrong, I don't mean disrespect with it. I wanted us to walk in here this morning. I want to say congratulations to General Mosekile for the degree she obtained. There are so many positive things we can focus on, but for goodness sake, SAPS is in crisis at the moment. For the past 2 weeks, several members of this committee and of other committees have been sitting, listening about a group of adults that can't get along with each other, amongst other things. And I'm putting it very, very politely. It is embarrassing that the country is spending time listening to dirty laundry of a small group of people, while there are people on the ground that suffer trying to do the job. So, at the moment, I want to first touch on the absence of the relevant accounting officers today. We were only informed about the Minister and the National Commission not being able to attend yesterday. I only heard about it yesterday afternoon. That's not fair. We sat in that ad hoc committee last night. Honourable Matthijs, what time did you end up finishing? Yeah, 1 o'clock. I left at 12:15 this morning. And yes, I was 10 minutes late this morning, but we're here. There's no excuse for them not being here. So, back to Cabinet. Parliament is not a branch of the Presidency or below the Presidency or a branch of Cabinet. It's an independent arm of the state, and we've got a constitutional duty to hold the executive to account. And I want to tell you today, and I mentioned things, it's funny, I mentioned it in this room last time, when it came to, I'm scared of saying Philip because last time I was there, things didn't go too well for me and Honourable Schikkeling. But Philippi is one of the examples that was mentioned in this very room. And up to this day, it's not solved, but we were accused of not doing our jobs. The National Commissioner said we should read between the lines, until eventually the members in the ad hoc committee pushed him last week to concede that there's nothing that this committee could have done with the limited information shared with us on the 5th of March. So we can't perform oversight in the absence of the relevant people. And with that, I agree with the Honourable Skosana, we don't disregard those that are here. But with the current crisis, it's important that we have all hands on deck. Just in terms of the crisis, all of you would have read through the Auditor General report confirming significant patterns of, let's call them challenges, with regards to something like procurement, and I'll touch on what that is just now. Now, a lot of these issues have built up. We discussed a lot of these things last year during exactly the same meeting, but I still haven't seen significant change. Now, what we've picked up, whether it's in the Madlanga Commission or in the ad hoc committee, it's always someone else's fault. It never stops with the accounting officer or with an accounting officer. It's always someone else's fault. Up until now, there is no one from across the board, from any faction, that has said that I own up for the mistake that I made there. That hasn't happened. So, just in terms of the findings, and this is why it's so important for the accounting officers to be here. Let me read a few to you. 2.5 billion rand in irregular expenditure not dealt with, according to AG findings. 95% of the entire police portfolio's irregular spending sits unresolved in SAPS. It's a bit of an unfair statement because SAPS has a significantly bigger budget than all the rest. But the long and the short is that irregular expenditure increased by 140% in 1 year, from 270 million rand to 650 million rand. largely because of ongoing violations of procurement matters and failed corrective measures. And I'll get to Tembisa just now. 466 million rand in uncompetitive and unfair tenders. Contracts awarded to suppliers who failed basic criteria while compliant bidders were disqualified. And I'm going to pause there, because with something like Tembisa and Mr. Kat Matlala, several members of this committee, including myself, asked questions about Kat Matlala. We asked many, many questions, but it takes months to get an accurate answer. From those coordinating the answers, I can just imagine the frustration, because you get sent from post to pillar or pillar to post just to get an accurate answer. The head of internal audit post has been vacant for more than 2 years, meaning SAPS has operated without that post for that specific time. The next one, potentially manipulated and duplicated crime data. The AG found duplicated and missing entries across multiple crime categories, undermining the credibility of national crime statistics. When did we ask about the GBV data? Honourable Schikkerling? 3 months ago. Honourable Matthijs asked. Honourable James isn't here. We asked about the leaving out of data of violence against women and children. Still not resolved. Let's move to forensic laboratories. DNA backlogs, from what we could see in the reports, have grown by 60%. Maintenance contracts for core instrumentals have expired and only half the required DNA testing lanes are functional. Last week I received a call from members in the Western Cape, LCRC. They don't have DNA swab kits. Everyone has expired. They don't have new ones. Now, we ask those questions, but it takes months on end to resolve, if at all. Unlawful detentions. SAPS continues to pay millions in civil claims for people detained longer than 48 hours without court appearances, in direct violation of Criminal Procedure Act. 153 million rand network contract paid upfront with no services delivered. This was a material irregularity and has been under investigation for years, but there has been no recovery of funds. Failure of command and control. Detective commanders failed to verify arrest. Case diaries remained blank. And 30% of reported performance achievements are unreliable or false. This leads me to the discussion regarding the political killing task team. Let's touch on that, what's happened during the ad hoc committee and the commission. If these things were done, and this is again, regardless of one or the other party or faction or enemy or friend of someone says, if just that was done, if the relevant checks and balances were in place to ensure that those diaries were filled, we likely wouldn't have heard this week that there are dockets that haven't been touched since 2022, sorry. Colleagues, I know I sound like I'm ranting. Last night I explained this whole ordeal like an episode of Days of Our Lives. But it is starting to feel like that. The Medicare contract, and I'm gonna close with this, and then we'll consider what's on the agenda. The Auditor General also confirmed that due diligence processes were either non-existent or ignored in the Medicare 24 contract with regards to Vusi Musi Kat Matlala. Now let me ask you something, and I asked this to General Sabia last night. All of the members sitting here that are in the ad hoc committee also asked him the same question. But it's very unfair to zoom in on General Sabia when there are many more other people that certainly know about this. I said last night we should have a General Fani commission to ask what is going on in procurement. How is it possible that Kat Matlala slipped through the radar with a 25-year-old criminal record? Cases withdrawn for cash-in-transit heists, being arrested for possession of unlicensed firearms and ammunition, armed robbery, housebreaking, theft from a motor vehicle. There's a whole list of matters. I think his first one was a housebreaking in Valwater or something. So, I mean, he's promoted himself over the years. it can't be. It can't be that someone like that gets a 360 million rand contract in SAPS without someone knowing and someone assisting. And people can be angry for me for making the assumption, but you can't blame me for making that or insinuating that. I'm telling you today that if the Minister and the National Commissioner, along with the whole team, don't sit here and account, and that we work and fix these things, there's a potential collapse of SAPS. And I don't say that lightly. People keep on wanting to push any of the politicians in here to say things like mafia state. They keep asking those questions. Are we a mafia state? Has the police collapsed? Is the criminal justice system still functioning? I'm telling you, if we don't resolve this, all of that will be true. In terms of oversight, I want to make it very, very clear and put it on record here today, and this committee agrees with me. We are not a rubber stamp of budgets. We are not going to stamp things, and I'm going to give a pre-warning to SIRA as well. We are not here to rubber stamp budgets and reviews for the sake of things just continuing as they are. There's a saying where people say, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So something's got to change, because at the moment it's not happening. That's why we're in this mess. And I want to warn already now to SIRA. This committee recommended that Mr. Chauke, the CEO of SIRA, the CFO of SIRA, be suspended. Now suddenly, with big fanfare, 8 or 9 junior members in SIRA are suspended, of which most of them are the wrong people. This was reported to all of us, and it gives the impression like action is being taken. But the UIF money that was stolen by people in high offices in SIRA has still not been recovered, and many of the people implicated are still in that very office. That suspension hasn't happened. So I'm telling you today that this committee will not review any form of budget of the Private Security Regulatory Authority if the relevant steps and action aren't taken, and if we can't see how much of the money that was taken regarding that UIF scandal was actually recovered. All of the members in here have asked several times, has the money been recovered? Every time the answer is no, not a cent. I'm going to conclude. We will reconvene in depth the questioning of BRRR matter when both the Minister and the National Commissioner are present. I will explain how we will go forward today. 2.5 billion rands worth of irregular expenditure that needs to be addressed. The integrity of crime data will be discussed, the state of forensic laboratories, the remedial actions on material irregularities and fraudulent contracts. We will also request progress reports from the Auditor General and the SIU regarding ongoing investigations with regards to the Medicare 24 matter. In closing, it's important that we realize that South African Police Service is the backbone of national security. There is no other institution with the size and the actual power that the South African Police Service has. But at the moment, we're not presenting that to South Africans. I mean, imagine this, we're reviewing the budget today. Parliament is meant to be the highest accounting authority in the country. There are material irregularities, material findings, serious procurement issues, and the relevant accounting officers aren't here. If we don't take this seriously, how are we going to take the South African suffering in, I don't know, Alexandra, Thohoyandou, or Kimberley? Maybe I shouldn't use Kimberley, Honourable Schikkerling. So it's not a courtesy to Parliament to get answers from SAPS. It's our job. And this committee, all of these members, including myself, will not be accused again of not doing our jobs. Honorable Garner, General Van Rooyen will be invited to come and explain to us how we did not do our job. And we will scrutinize that as well. We will work through that. But we're not going to be the scapegoat for other people not communicating properly. What I want to ask to the honorable members is, well, firstly, before I do that, I want to apologize to the members of the AG, because I don't know how you guys do it, but you're always very enthusiastic and positive. You're like a ball of energy. It is very inspiring to always meet with you. And I want to apologize for the way that we've started today. But please don't question Parliament in that regard. Parliament is not the scapegoat. Yeah. I want to ask the honourable members whether we can also, are you comfortable with hearing the unions today? Are you comfortable with the AG and then the others? I can't make that decision. So I'm going to give an opportunity to the members that want to say how they go, and depending on what the majority of the members say, we move. There are two options in my opinion. I'm going to come to the members now. The one is we allow the AG to present. We allow the unions to present. We can ask questions of clarity, but there will be no real debate because the relevant accounting officers aren't here. So that's the one. And if that is the case, we invite everyone back again, and then we can have the further deliberations. The other option is adjourn, get everyone back at the same time. Honourable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. And I think it's very, very important for us to take into cognizance the remarks which we have made already, and perhaps to apologize to those members who are here as well. And I guess that the commitment from men and women who are in blue is highly recognized. You know, we can't paint everyone with one brush. It's not like there's, as you said, we are not ranking on the police who are here, who are from the top management as well. But it's unfortunate that we as politicians as well, when I'm saying we, I'm including those members, especially our acting minister who's not here. And indeed, he will speak for himself when he appears before us, that we are, you know, we are not here to tick the box. You know, it's not optics. We are here to do our job, and South Africans are looking at us with all the failures and the blame game which we were fingered, that we have dropped the ball, and some of us, the issue of the 5th of March is still lingering over our heads. And I thank you, Chair, to say that this will never happen again, because we are regarded as useless. You know, that we can't do our job, you know, regardless of the so-called social media, talking about real issues, you know, that affects our people. But I guess, Chair, we can deal with what you've already said, the audit general. I'm not sure about the union and the civilian secretariat, we can deal with that. But our 1,000 apology, you know, it's not like we want to embarrass anyone by saying we are not going to entertain the issue of the police today. And I think we have to stick to our guns on that until the minister appears before us for the first time, you know, for the first time. He never appeared before us, you know, maybe the minister will come back before he appears before us. I'm not saying acting. Maybe the real minister will come back. I'm not sure. But I'm saying he has to be here. And our 1,000 apology for those who are here. This fruitless expenditure is one of those things. It happens, but it's not a good thing, because South Africans are looking at us to say, yo, all the way from Gauteng, from the head office to Cape Town for nothing. On that one is unfortunate. we have to stick to our guns. We'll have to entertain. I'm not sure whether we can ask for an adjournment at a later, after we all spoken, Chair. But indeed, we will have to have the civilian secretary, and besides what happened, there's members who are suspended when there was supposed some consequence management, which is not done, but thanks the audit general is here. But on this budget, this PRRR, unfortunately, we have to deal with it when the minister and the NASCOM is here. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Skosana, just for clarity, so what is your suggestion in one sentence?
In one sentence, I'm saying we can adjourn, Chair, after, if we agree, all of us as members.
Okay.
Chair, for some reason it keeps going through my head that we might at some stage have to start subpoenaing people to come to this committee. How can people who should be here treat this committee with such contempt and Parliament with such contempt? I mean, is that the level we're going to have to get to, where we actually have to subpoena people to come here rather than go to other meetings elsewhere? I'm very saddened by this. I don't think we can proceed at all. I think everybody must just leave and we'll have to try and reconvene. And this time we need guarantees that the right people are going to be here. And I appreciate so much that everybody else has arrived, but you've been let down by your top management completely. And I don't see how we can move forward. You can't do bits and pieces and bits and pieces. Cannot be. We need to just send everybody home and start again. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kola Barnard. I recognize the Honorable Garner.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Those that we have a serious issue with is the Minister and the Commissioner. Those are the people who have a serious issue with. So the way I see, also in the way that you had planned the agenda, what the Auditor General's report does, it gives us ammunition when we engage with the police. Yeah. Equally, what the unions are going to tell us, it gives us ammunition to engage with the police. So that we don't, you see, I don't want us to then, because Parliament will not reimburse the AG and the unions. They are here. They are here to shed light in terms of their observation of the police. I then say that no, let them give us the ammunition. It will have adequate time to then digest that ammunition so that when the police leadership comes here, we have adequate ammunition. That's how I see the AG and the unions, because they are not executing the budget. They are assisting us in raising this issue. So my submission is that the AG, and now that we won't have the police, we can go line by line with the AG. Ask as much as we can so that by the time the police come, we have as much ammunition as we need. Because sometimes when everything is lumped together, then you don't have adequate time to deal with the issues, and then others go on TV and say we don't do our job. So we want to show them that we'll do our job. So the AG, the unions, they will present, and the next time when they come, we'll do our job with the police, so that they won't go on TV and claim that we don't do our job. So that would be my proposal, and I've Honorable Skosana agrees, so I represent him in my presentation. So he's amending his earlier submission that we adjourn.
Are you starting your own GNU now with MK? I'm just joking.
But he agrees. We together with the Rev here, we're able to convince him that the AG and the unions can present. Thanks.
I've noted the Honourable Kluter, then Schikkeling, then the Honourable Matthijs. Honourable Kluter.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, mine is just to check regarding the AG's report and civilian secretariat and the unions. Is all the relevant people that's supposed to answer, is it here? If not, then I will also propose that we must postpone and reconvene. But we must also check in terms of the report from the AG and the Civil Secretariat and the unions. If there is something in that presentations that perhaps expected that the National Commissioner must also, for example, if it is a line that he must say something regarding that. So I want us to postpone and reconvene. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Klute. Honourable Schikkeling.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, my question just is, I mean, I have no problem with us going through the reports, but who are we going to question? There's nobody to question here today. We can listen, and then we're going to have to leave, and then we're going to have to come back again, and then we have to refresh everybody's minds and go through the whole process again. So to me, it's almost like a fruitless and wasteful day, because who are we questioning? There's nobody here to question. And as you rightfully said, Chairperson, this committee has gotten a very bad reputation over the last few weeks for things that was not our fault. And I don't want anybody to ever come back and say, you did not fulfill your mandate, because I again say, Chair, we showed up today. Several of the people that are sitting here today have been in Parliament for the last week and a half until 11, 12 o'clock at night, fulfilling our duties. We just expect the same respect from the SAPS, which they're not doing. And I don't think it's fair towards us or towards anybody else that is sitting in this room with what is happening today. So I don't fundamentally have an issue with it. I think we should probably adjourn. But the question is, who do we ask questions to? There is nobody here that's going to be able to assist us because the accounting officer is absent. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honourable Schikkeling. Honourable Matthijs.
Thank you, Chair. I don't want to say anything, just as a disclaimer, because we are products of a 1 o'clock meeting last night, so it might look like we were just trying to dodge our duties here this morning. But as I said earlier, and exactly what Honourable Schikkeling is saying is that who do we ask questions to? And the format of these meetings, Honourable Gunn has got a lot of energy because he hasn't been with us until 2 o'clock in the morning. But generally the format of this is that we have it set up like this for a specific reason. So I am of the view, and I maintain the view, that we postpone and we do everything as we normally have been in the format with the AG. But also, is the DG for the Civilian Secretariat here? Okay, so yeah, we also have
No
that
apology.
issue as well, with no apology. So yeah, that's the EFF position from the Progressive Caucus. Thank you, Chair.
Honourable Ghana.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. So I would like to appeal to my Progressive Caucus colleagues. So, and to Honourable Schikkeling. So Sira was not going to appear today, according to the program. But the AG will have spoken to Sira, will have spoken to IPID, will have spoken to other entities that were not due to appear today. The AG covers the entirety of the portfolio, but it doesn't mean that you have to deal with the entirety of the portfolio on the same day. So what you will have, say for instance, Chair, because I serve in transport, the AG will come, give us the full picture of what's happening in the department, but then we will then engage the entities, not necessarily in the same day, but in different days, because now we've got ammunition from the AG. What I'm appealing is that let's deal with the AG. Yeah. So the AG are the authors of their report. The police cannot answer on the report of the AG. So the National Commissioner cannot answer on what the AG has said. The people who have authored the report of the AG, they are sitting here with us. So if we have a question on anything from the AG, it's not for the minister or the accounting officer to answer on that. It's the authors of the report that says this is what we found and so forth. What we then use is to then say, all right, the AG has found ABC in your department. What led to this? What are the corrective actions that you are taking? So I'm trying to say that it's not, we must not see the accounting or the absence of the accounting officer to be an impediment in us receiving a report of the AG. What the report of the AG empowers us to do is to then say, all right, we are asking you these questions. So now you can no longer deny that this is what's happening in your department, because there is an audit that was done on all this. So I would appeal to my far left progressive caucus member, both in terms of where she's sitting and of everything else.
Honorable Ghana,
that
if
we
she's far left now, you far right.
I'm sitting to a right, I'm not far right. So let's deal with the, I appeal that we deal with the AG, we get the ammunition, the authors of the reports are here, then we then deal with the SIRA and every other entity that we need to deal with. Have properly armed with what they found. I appeal to both the EFF, the DA, and the ANC, MK and ACDP. Yeah, we are together on this one.
Reverend Meshwe.
Chairperson, without wanting to repeat what my colleague has said, I'm sure we all agree that the reports of the AG have been very helpful to us throughout the years. And I must thank them for the good work they've been doing. Now, if we have questions regarding what they have written, what is in the document, they are capable to answer those questions. So having more time with them will be to our benefit. But I think it would be unfair for them to be sent back and be asked to come back again at a later stage just because the minister and the national commissioner are not here. So since they are able to answer the questions regarding the report that they wrote, I think let's give them time so that whatever was going to be a question might be answered by them, giving the details of what they've written in their report. So that's also our appeal that the AG be allowed to carry on because they've done an excellent job. Nobody can deny that. Thank you.
Honorable Skosana.
Yeah, Chair, the only disadvantage that the only disadvantage in my view is that perhaps if SAPS was here, I mean NASCOM, SAPS is here anyway, but the question will be, SAPS will be asking the AG why do they have whatever findings they have, you know, but it will be very unfair that we do like we are gossiping the police. For me, hence I said that we must adjourn this meeting. I understand where Honorable Ghana comes from, the issue that it will give us time and ammunition. But it will be unfortunate that we will be, you know, gossiping, because it will be proper for SAPS members, in particular NASCOM or the CFO, you know, or the whoever is, or the legal, you know, when those presentation is made by AG, for them to ask for themselves, you know, to account for themselves. Why this, why that? For us, we'll ask clear questions, but at the end of the day, all those questions must be answered by them. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Skosana. I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to go through each member. You have one word. The options are stay for the AG. That's way more than one word. Let's just say 2 words. Auditor General, stay or go. Okay? Start with you, Honorable Skosana.
And unfortunately, my proposal is that as well. I don't say to say go, but yeah.
Honorable Skosana, that was 10 words.
Thank you, go. Yeah, well, they can come back again. Thank you.
Honorable Reverend Meshwe.
They are here, sir, and it is not the function and the duty of the minister to question them. If there's something, they have reported that the minister and the national commissioner do not agree with, they must make their time. But when they are in the committee, it is the committee's prerogative and also privilege to question them and not the ministers. So they must stay and present. Thank you.
Reverend, I think that was 67 words. Honorable Ghana.
Let's deal with the AG.
Thank you. Honorable Klute.
Go.
Honorable Mukwena, I thought you were camouflaging there. You were very quiet. Stay or go?
Go.
Honorable Schikkeling.
Go, Chair.
Honorable Carla Barnard.
Go.
Honorable Matthijs.
Hey, I'm also going to say extra words, but go. And the disclaimer is that the AG cannot answer the questions of why did this happen. And that's what we want. We can get questions of clarity, but they're not going to explain to us why the forensic lab, for example, had irregular expenditure for that amount of money. So it's not that I want to go and sleep, it's because they're not going to be able to answer the why. And also, Chair, that they're going to have to come back anyway. So, thank you. Go, sorry.
I think that was 53 words, Honorable Matthijs. The meeting is adjourned. We will reconvene. Thank you. DM, sure, sorry, apologies, colleagues. DM?
No, thank you, Chair. Morning to you, morning to members. I thought we should make a comment because I think it's necessary. We hear and understand where you come from, and the committee, we appreciate the issues that were said. And of course, it's not going to be an easy road. It's ahead, it's going to be difficult, but it's a road that we are determined to travel. And we will be walking side by side with yourselves. Unfortunately, we are bound together. The challenges facing the country are challenges that are necessary and that we should confront, but we shall overcome. The request that one would like to make, Chair, is that as we deal with the issues of how programming gets done, we should try as far as possible to find each other and also be alive to the challenges of the day that we're confronted with, which might necessitate that certain changes should be made to accommodate what is currently prevailing. And I think we should be able to address that. It's unfortunate that today we are gathered here with the challenges that are there, cabinet sitting and the minister having to attend that and not being able to come to this meeting, not because there is a disregard of this meeting. There is willingness to come and appear before the committee, and I'm certain that when we come to engage, they will be here. Also, the National Commissioner, when you are not well, there's nothing that can be done. And I think that is the matter that we are dealing with the regard to the National Commissioner who is not well, including the Secretary for the Civilian Secretariat. If you are on leave, you are on leave. And then you appoint people who act and have all the authority to decide on what needs to be done, and that's what we are confronted with, and I think it should be noted as such. The South African Police, the institution is intact. And that's why you have this contingent of members that are here. That is a sign that we are intact. But we acknowledge the challenges that we are confronted with, and these are the challenges that I'm saying to you, we will overcome. There is no way that we are not going to overcome these challenges before us. That should be understood, and I'm happy that members did, in the course of the conversation, as you arrive at a decision, noted that yes, we note that police are there and they are here, they came, and policing is taking place in South Africa. It has not collapsed. Yes, we are going through a difficult moment, but it's a moment that we shall get out of. And it is clear we are going to reset as we move forward, including how we interface with yourself. You are sending a message to us, which is very clear in terms of where you are standing, and we are not questioning. We are not questioning that, and I think you are doing all this for the benefit of the country, and we appreciate that. And from our side, we'll play our role, and we work well with the Auditor General, and we are not questioning what they are presenting before you. They have discussed these issues with us, and we know what is in here, and there is no dispute. Ours is to take the guidance that they have given us to ensure that things are done. There are people who have appeared and they are appearing, but I think it will be important, Chair, to say that the head of legal, who is Lieutenant General Kamani, has not appeared before anybody, and he has not said anything that brings anybody into question. But of course, there are issues that you have raised, but I thought that point must be cleared. But I'm not opening a discussion around that matter, but I thought I should say what I've said and appreciate this moment that you have given us, Chair, to comment. And I thought it will not be appropriate for us to just take our bags and go without saying the things that I have said. And once more, we appreciate where you come from, and we understand and we hear your concern, and the message will be communicated to the leadership of the institution. Thanks very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, DM. I may, just before we adjourn, just to give you an idea, is that with regards to the DG, we didn't receive anything, not even that he's on leave. So we didn't receive any notice of that. With regards to the National Commissioner, no one said that he's not well. We just received a notice that he will not be able to attend. And with regards to the Minister, it was via WhatsApp for Cabinet. So I really appreciate your approach, DM, and I think we have a good relationship. So we always welcome you and the effort that you put in. So thank you for your words. But those are the challenges that we have. I think this institution and this committee has itself been through a tough few months. You know, some of our meetings, especially on the 5th of March, you'd remember there were quite turbulent times at some stage during many of those meetings. So we also want to get on track and be able to operate. So sometimes it's important to be frank. I'm going to just thank the representatives of the unions that also came. I apologize. But we will be in communication. Colleagues, with that, the meeting is now officially adjourned, closed, and Honourable Matthys can go and rest now.